Ahoy hoy! I am Planetwalk, and welcome to another stream. Go! Alrighty. And let me switch over to everything because I do have to make sure that we're not just seeing the same screen all stream. Otherwise that would be bad. I think. Or maybe you don't want to see my beautiful mug. Who knows? But anyway. How is everybody doing on this fine illust... I don't know why I'm describing the day kind of weird, but that's something I do, I guess. How's everyone doing? We've got people saying... Got Doug saying it's weird though. I always hear a lot more people complaining about it when daylight savings ends, like it did today. Yeah, I kind of get it. Like, waking up later, I find is nice. Maybe that's just what we should. Maybe we should just adjust the time that we have to do things rather than adjusting what time, you know. Rather than adjusting the time. Arizona has no daylight savings time. Yeah, maybe we should all follow Arizona's lead. You know, I know that if I were to become Prime Minister of New Zealand, then I'd probably try and get rid of daylight savings. I'd be like, as a program, daylight savings can cause a whole lot of issues. That's if you're trying to program for daylight savings. Space Marine SDEP says, my day is alright though. I have mock exams tomorrow though, so that'll be fun. Yeah, at least it helps you, I suppose, get through the actual exams. Just so it gets dark at 4 PM now. Oh, I don't think I've seen it get dark at 4 PM ever. How far north are you? You'd have to be like in Canada area, I'd say. Or maybe in Sweden or something. That's where I'd guess you are if it gets dark at 4 PM. Especially this time of year. Jeez. Yeah, don't think I've ever had it get dark at 4 PM. Yeah. Anywho, let me bring up the first thing of today. Province of Saskatchewan doesn't have daylight savings. Yeah, there's a few places that I know that doesn't have daylight savings. Anywho, let me switch over to this. So, JFK didn't come back from the dead. Who's surprised? No one's. Well, there are some people that were surprised. The QAnon people were surprised that a dead person didn't show up. Like, how is this real life? So here on it says, members of the QAnon conspiracy cult were left disappointed when John F. Kennedy Jr. failed to come back from the dead at a rally on Tuesday at the exact site where his father was assassinated in 1963. Hundreds showed up at the Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, US media reported, expecting the son of former US president to show up and take his place as vice president to Donald Trump, whom they expected to be reinstated. JFK Jr. didn't show, of course, having died in a plane crash 22 years ago. Yeah, it's almost like when you're dead, you don't come back to life. Unless you faked your death. There's more to it. I think on this here we've got a few videos of people that expected John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy Jr. Come back. Oh yeah, here we go. I've seen a bit about this lady. Oh, that might. I'm not sure if that's too loud. I'll turn the volume down. Let me know how the volume leveling is, by the way.
I can only speak for myself, okay? I don't want to speak for a whole movement. I can only speak for myself. I am here because I believe at 11:55, JFK Jr. will be our new vice president, and President Trump will be our president. They will get that from a very much, at the time, on January 9th, the Insurrection Act was signed by President Trump, and he, in doing so...
So, is the Insurrection Act a real thing? Like, I hear... Like, what is, like... If it is, I don't think that it does what she says that it does. Okay. Yeah, so it's a law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy U.S. military. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, it's not what she says that it does. It doesn't allow. Because what she was going to go on and say that it. Oh, I'll show you.
So he could return the office. He could hand it over to a former president, and he handed it over to President John F. Kennedy.
So, where can you point to me where in the Insurrection Act it allows you to do that? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to have anything that allows them to do that. No. I can't see it here. Maybe they're just delusional. Oh wait, that we already knew that, didn't we?
He did not die that day. And on my Q-mobile, if you go out there, you'll see a picture of President Trump and President John F. Kennedy, September 11, 2020, at the Pennsylvania Fields. And there's a picture on that Q-mobile of them.
JFK would have been like 103.
Great, he's 103.
Okay.
I really want to see that picture, you know? I really want to see that picture. Because there'll be something suspicious if John F. Kennedy isn't like a really old person there.
And so Trump turned over the presidency to him via the Insurrection Act. I believe, I won't speak for the whole movement, I believe that at 11:55, President Kennedy via some way, because JFK Jr.
Kennedy Sr. Kennedy Jr.
Kennedy Sr. will turn over the presidency.
You're right, Mighty Possum. They keep forgetting which Kennedy is supposed to... all of the Kennedys. We're gonna have all the Kennedys from like... We're gonna have Kennedys back from 1738 that are just gonna rise from the grave and come back and be like, yeah, we're all still alive. We're immortal. Imagine their shock when they find out that the Kennedys are just the Illuminati.
On my car also, you will see two statements from Vice President John F. Kennedy.
Vice President?
Yes.
Okay. Because
our country was stolen from us in 1871 and we were made a corporation. Our last president of our republic was Grant. Okay? So Trump will be 19th president. JFK Jr. is 19th. It's already happened. All of this is already.
I honestly don't know how they can be so delusional, right? It's kind of sad to watch, actually, because there's no reality behind any of these things that they're believing. How do you wait for someone that is clearly not going to be coming back alive, not going to be ending up alive somehow? There's no possible way. It's complete and utter delusion. Doug, you've got a great point. If Grant was the last actual president, JFK couldn't have been a real president. Yeah, if all this bullshit was real, it would have to be Grant, not a Kennedy. I just don't know how someone can go ahead and believe this kind of stuff. It is bizarre to me. Like, the whole Q movement is just bizarre to me. How do people believe all this crazy conspiracy shit about someone coming back? Like I feel like there's a reality that people want to live in, and they're trying to live in that reality despite all the evidence pointing to the contrary. And they'll continue to go to these things until they eventually realize. It's sad that there's going to be a lot of people that will never realize how delusional their movement is, right? Like, the whole Q movement is complete and utterly delusional. Donald Trump, the only way that he's going to become president again is if he wins the next election. That's the only way. I make them sound like flat earth. Put it this way. There are a lot of flat earthers that are QAnoners. That's the bizarre thing, right? There's a lot of flat earthers that are QAnoners. Well, it's not bizarre, that makes sense, but that's the thing. And flat earthers are... I actually think that flat earthers aren't quite as out of touch with reality as QAnoners. Like, if you're a flat earther that just believes, believes that the earth is flat, they're not as out of touch with reality as someone that believes that JFK is going to come back. They go to a rally where they know that where they think that JFK is going to come back, and reinstate Donald Trump as the fucking president. Like, that's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I feel like flat earthers, maybe it's because I've gotten used to flat earthers, and all their claims are just, oh yeah, that's this claim. Maybe it's just I've gotten used to them. But QAnoners are leaps and bounds beyond flat earthers when it comes to delusion. It's delusion where they... It's the reason why I find it so delusional compared to flat earthers, I guess, is flat earthers, they don't have anything which could prove them completely wrong to the point where they'll not find where they can't find an excuse, right? Flat earthers, they'll always find an excuse, whether it be refraction, this, that, and the next thing. However, QAnoners, there's no excuse for John F. Kennedy not showing up, yet they continue to believe in it. That's the bizarre thing to me. Even being proven wrong countless times, you're still like, oh, yeah, it's real. It'd be like if the Bible said on 2031, or no, let's say that it was like 2022 that Jesus is going to come back from the dead, and we're going to have, all the Jews will rise like it says in the Bible, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where it's... Maybe I'm getting Revelations and another book mixed up. I haven't read the entire Bible. You know, but let's say it says that in 2022 this is going to happen. And then we get to 2022 and everyone was like, oh yeah, it was just part of the plan. You know, the Bible is still 100% right. I'd be like, it literally said in the Bible that this is the day that your Lord and Savior was supposed to come back. What, did God decide, oh, you've been good kids, the rapture's not going to come now? It's something where you have to live in denial of not only reality, but you have to live in denial of... How do I put it? It's one of these things where there's so much denialism. It's like, no, we're not wrong about what's going on. It's that the plan changed. It's a constantly updating... Yeah. Oh, you don't know what QAnon is? Oh, wow. So basically, QAnon is like the motherlode of all conspiracy theories, right? Basically, it's a bunch of conspiracy theories. You've got people like basically, what they think is they...
Bull.
I honestly don't know what QAnon is. Please explain.
Yeah, so basically, it's like this bunch of conspiracies. The rapture's been delayed due to daylight savings. Good run. Yeah, but where was I? Oh, that's right. So I'm gonna explain it. It's they think they have an informant that's in the military that's saying what's going to happen, and even though most of the stuff that they say is going to happen doesn't happen, they still believe that it's part of the plan. If it doesn't happen, it's part of the plan. If it does happen, it's because it was predicted. Right? They think that there's a whole lot of predictions that are being made, which somehow, right? I think it's probably related to Jesus or something. Like I don't know if this is true, but I'd wager that they probably believe that God is telling them what is going to happen or something, right? And so they also believe in the whole Pizzagate conspiracy theory. They believe that Trump was dropping clues like some white rabbit. They believe that like Trump is like the chosen one, basically. You'd think that it is a God thing, but like surprisingly, I think they think that Trump is like the Messiah or something like that, you know? Dozens, probably hundreds of specific dates have been given for the return of Jesus. Today's Seventh-day Adventist church form after a handful of failed predictions by a fellow named... Yeah. This is, like, they always believe that, oh, this... And, you know, if someone told me, oh, this is going to happen, right, and it didn't happen, I'd be like, okay, probably never going to happen, right? I mean, that's why people get fired from jobs, right? If you said, oh yeah, I can get this done by Tuesday, right? And you didn't get it done by Tuesday. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I can get it done a week after, just give me an extra week. Didn't happen. And then you're like, oh, yeah, just give me another week. And it didn't happen. And each time it came out to that, you know, they're like, give me an extra week. You'd be like, yo, you've had 5 weeks now to get it done. You said that you're going to get it done in 1 week, but it's now been 5 weeks. You're fired. That's what would happen. Like, what the fuck have you been doing? Unless, like, the only way that... Even then, like, that can be justified with feature creep, right? If there's been... or scope. You know, if it's been getting slowly out of scope, then that can be justified. If there's no scope justification, then yeah, you'd be fired. Mr. Gerardo says there's no such thing as QAnon. There's Qanoners that post on the 4chan website. QAnon is a media invention. Well, the reason why I say QAnon is because it's easy to describe the whole Q movement, you know? QAnon is what a lot of people know it as, you know? Kerbo Toys says a good friend of mine is getting sucked in and I'm not sure how to deal with it. I think the good way to go about it is that I think the way to stop people from getting sucked in is to point out how many times Q has been wrong about things, right? Like, just go ahead and show, oh, they've been wrong about this, and this. This does mean that you have to, and it is a thing where it is a very much a feelings thing as well, so I think that I think that you also have to, because a lot of this does come down to you feel like something's wrong with the world. Like, because, yeah, there is something wrong with the world. The thing is, it's not always what people say that it is, right? It's not like the thing that's wrong with the world is, it's not like it's, vaccines that are wrong with the world. Like, vaccines are a symptom of a pretty bad disease, you know, but people will say that, oh, vaccines are wrong with this world. You know, they'll say that, you know, this, that, and the next thing. The thing that is wrong with the world is you've got things like corruption, you've got things like global warming and no one doing anything about it. Those are the things that are wrong with the world. And I suppose you've got to just point them in the right direction. Not necessarily Q, but she's highly anti-vax and thinks that it's killing everyone, and of course the media lies is the main talking point. Yeah, like, because there is a bit of truth to the media lies. However, just point out that the media that is lying tends to be the right-wing media, not the left-wing. Yeah, there are some lies in left-wing media. That is correct, but the right-wing media seems to lie a hell of a lot more than left-wing media, at least from what I've seen. Right? Like, and the thing is, the right-wing media, like Fox News, Sky News Australia, and it's not necessarily lies, actually, because it's more of sometimes it is just blatant lies, like with Sky News Australia, there has been blatant lies. But it's also the way that they talk about it, right? Because when you're watching Fox News and Sky News Australia, they'll talk about it in a way that, rather than being like, oh, here's the facts, they'll be like, this will destroy American sensationalism. Yeah, it'll be like, this will destroy Western civilization as we know it, despite it's being around for years, you know? Like, Mr. Gerardo says Australia and New Zealand are now under full Nazi control. I don't feel like we're under Nazi control in New Zealand, right? At best, you can say, like, there are people saying that what the government is doing is government overreach. You know, like, that's the best that you can say, but, like, the thing is, we do have to get people vaccinated, because otherwise we're going to have a lot of people dying. I don't want a lot of people dying. I'm sorry. I like living. You know, herd immunity will be an important thing in getting rid of COVID. Delay says, New Zealand is not under Nazi control, sincerely a German. There we go, yeah. Is it true that they are finding you and trying to take you? No! That's not happening! I have never heard of any... I know people that are unvaccinated, right? And they have... Like, there's one person that I know that's not vaccinated. They're going to get vaccinated, right? probably later on this year or maybe even next year. They've been putting it off because they're really uncertain about it, right? Due to, by the way, right-wing misinformation. And they are going to get it because they've got to. The thing is that she hasn't been... she hasn't gotten a call from the government saying, look, we're going to have to take your assets. There are limitations on... There will be limitations, should I say, on people that haven't gotten vaccinated, right? But those limitations aren't... I have looked at Project Veritas, and they are the most dishonest spine fucks on the... I don't even know if that makes sense, but they are the most dishonest fucks in the world. The deceptive editing that they do, like hell, they even had like they said, oh, this person was perfectly healthy, right? About someone, they had the documents up on screen like a second before, and it showed that they had like a whole list of problems, right? The whole thing, and you do have a choice, right? Like, if you businesses have a right to turn you away if you don't meet their expectations. Like, if you forget your ID at a bar, they have a right to not serve you alcohol or not even let you in the first place, right? That's the thing. Like, I've got to bring a driver's license or passport to when I go to a bar. How do you explain the police, firefighters, doctors, nurses, and pilots all leaving their jobs? Are they delusional? I mean, they've got to... That's their choice, right? You know, they have the choice to leave their jobs, but that's the consequence of not getting vaccinated. You know, either you leave your job and then you cannot get vaccinated, or you get vaccinated and keep your job. That's one of the things. There are people don't. That's a very small minority. Like, when you compare COVID deaths to whatever deaths from vaccine there are, the COVID deaths vastly outnumber vaccine deaths. That's if there are any credible. That's especially when it comes to the credible ones. Like, I've heard some credible vaccine deaths, but there are very small minority, and a lot of times people will conflate an issue that has nothing to do with the vaccine and say, oh yeah, this person died from getting the vaccine, even though it may have nothing to do with the vaccine. Maybe it's something that is more likely due to something else, right? If you get the vaccine and then do an intense workout and then get delayed onset muscle soreness in your legs, that's most likely from the intense workout, not the vaccine. You know, this is like, and this is the thing. This is right-wing often the right-wing media is just lying about these things because it gets people riled up. They don't. Do you think that Tucker Carlson gives a shit about whether his audience is vaccinated? Not really. He's vaccinated. He doesn't give a shit if you're vaccinated. Because if you're not vaccinated, hey, it gives him something to talk about. You know? You think Tucker Carlson cares about whether you are safe? Do you think he cares about if the pandemic ends? Actually, he does. If the pandemic ends, Tucker Carlson will be like, well, you know, like, what do I do now? What do I talk about? If the pandemic never ends, you know, they want the forever plague, right? That's what people like Tucker Carlson want. They want the fucking forever plague, because if it goes on forever, they have something to talk about. That if they get sick, if they get COVID, no biggie, right? Because they get COVID, hey, they can afford to they can afford healthcare that would probably save their life, right? If because more likely that it's gonna kill a poor person than it will a rich person, because rich people can afford the best care in the world. And that's why these people that complain about lockdowns, complain about vaccines, complain about masks, they don't give a shit. Tucker Carlson is vaccinated, right? What they give a shit about is they give a shit about clicks, right? And they will tell you whatever you want to hear in order to get their clicks. That's what they care about, right? Mr. Gerardo, the reason why I say that he's vaccinated is because you have to be vaccinated if you're working at Fox News. If he stood up for what he believes in and didn't get vaccinated, he wouldn't have a job on Fox News, right? Well, here's the thing. He won't say that because the reason why he doesn't say that is because that's not going to get him clicks. People are going to rightly call him a hypocrite if he says that he's not vaccinated, right? But you have to be vaccinated to work at Fox News. That is their policy. Is there a chance that he's not vaccinated? Yeah, there's a chance. There's a tiny chance. Small, tiny chance. But do not conflate that tiny chance for, don't believe anything you see on Fox TV. Fox. Well, it's one of the things where there are news sources that are credible, like AP News is one of the credible news sources. Some of the other ones. AP News is the instant come to mind one. Hold on, there's a certain reliability thing. But Fox News is something that it's not so much. Here's the thing: it's not so much the reliability; it's the spin that they put on it, right? Because some things on Fox News, the way that they talk about it, it's not so much that some of the things that they may say are completely false. It's more that they talk about it in such a way that completely spins it in a bizarre way, making some tiny thing seem like it's some huge, big problem that needs to be worried about. But anyway, I'll move on to the next thing, because... Yeah, hey, Mr. Dorado, here's the thing. Independent websites aren't the most trustworthy source of news out there. Do you think Alex Jones is trustworthy? Alex Jones is less trustworthy than Fox News. Project Veritas, they are the... I'm not sure whether they're more or less trustworthy than Alex Jones, to be honest. That's one of the things that it's the trustworthiness of news isn't based on whether they are owned by a corporation or not. It's based on what facts they show. Anyway, let's go on to let's talk about a news organization that has lost a lot of trustworthiness. BBC. And no, it doesn't stand for what you're all thinking that it stands for. Something Broadcasting Corporation, I think. British Broadcasting Corporation, not Big Black Cock. Which is what a lot of people probably were excited for, but I'm sorry, we're not allowed to show that on stream. So, this is an article that was published by BBC, called saying, "We're being pressured into sex by some trans woman." I'd assume it's British Broadcasting Corporation, or I'm not sure if the C stands for corporation, but I'd assume that it's something like that. Alright, so, they have, with this article, they incurred the wrath of the internet. Right. So, I have not actually read this article yet. However, there are some important things that I have heard about it. Right, and we're going to talk about. So I know the important part. So let's read it together and point out where they are wrong, right? So, here we've got the sort of strong first thing: is a lesbian transphobic if she does not want to have sex with trans woman. Some lesbians say they are increasingly being pressured and coerced into accepting women as partners, then shunned or even threatened for speaking out. Several have spoken to the BBC, along with trans women who are concerned about the issue too. So, a few things to mention is that, no, you are not transphobic if you don't want to have sex with someone who is trans. Right? If you don't want to have sex with someone who is trans, that is completely fine. People have preferences. You know, if your preference, you know, maybe you have a genital preference, right? And therefore you don't want to have sex with someone that has certain genitals. Then, yeah, that would be fine. Fine for you to not want to have sex with them. You know, I don't want to have sex with anyone that has a dick, right? That doesn't make me transphobic for not wanting to have sex with a trans woman who still has a dick, right? This article was written on the 26th of October. Is it up here? At least that's the date that it gives here. I didn't really hear about this until like this month, though. A few days after it was widely circulated. So yeah, if you don't want to if you don't want to have sex with someone, that's completely up to you, right? If you're not attracted to someone, that's, you know, you're not attracted to I'm straight, right? And I'm not attracted to every girl, right? There are some girls that I'm just not attracted to. There's heaps of people that I'm not attracted to, despite me being straight. And the same would go, I'd assume, for people that are lesbians, people that are bisexual, people that are pansexual, people that are gay. Mighty Possum says, "Thank you for saying I've never heard of this article, but what a bullshit and sensationalized article." Yeah. Now we're going to go down, right? So this is where we're going to get get into the spicy stuff. All right. So it says, "Warning: story contains strong language." I've had someone saying they would rather kill. I've had someone saying they would rather kill me than Hitler, says 24-year-old Jenny. The Star. Oh, not the Star. I don't. It's probably all the way down at the bottom of the article, I'd assume. Oh yeah, the BBC has changed some of the names of those featured in the article to protect their identity. Okay, so just keep in mind about that. They said they would strangle me with a belt if they were in a room with me and Hitler. That is so bizarrely violent, just because I won't have sex with trans women. Now, that is a bit extreme, but we've got to keep in mind that there is definitely going to be bias in this article because of the people that they interviewed for this article, right? Most trans people that I know, if you don't want to have sex with them, they don't want to have sex with you. Right? Then I'd assume that most people don't want to have sex with someone that doesn't like them, right? It's like that's like just human behavior, like not wanting to have, especially if you have a problem with trans people. Like, trans people don't want to have, like, I'm not saying that everyone here has a problem with trans people, but trans people generally want to. Trans people generally actually want to have sex with someone that they know is going to want to have sex with them, because otherwise there could be issues with, if someone doesn't respect your identity as a trans person, then there are big issues there. That is the whole thing with trans people wanting to have sex with people that don't really like trans people, right? It says Jenny is a lesbian woman. She says she is only sexually attracted to women who are biologically female and have vaginas. She therefore only has sex with and relationships with women who are biologically female. Now, I don't like the framing of this here. Now, most people, right, who are biologically female, you can't see their chromosomes, right? If I met I've known some people that I've known of some people, right? Known personally people that are trans that pass really well, but I have known of some people like let's take Blair White. You didn't tell me that she was trans, I wouldn't know. Right? If I didn't know that Blair White was trans, I'd assume that she's cis, right? Because she passes so well, right? Now, I don't know if she's had bottom surgery, right? But if you're a trans woman that has had bottom surgery and you pass well in every aspect, right? I'm not I don't know if it would exactly be different, but I'd assume that it would be pretty much the same as having sex with a woman. Maybe there might be a slight difference, but the attraction would still be there, right? If you say that you only want, if you're only attracted to biologically female people, then I'm sorry, but that does seem just a smidge transphobic. Now, you may mean that you're only attracted to people that have vaginas, and that you wouldn't mind a trans woman that has a vagina, right? That is fine. People have genital preference. I have genital preference. But, the way that I just disagree with the framing here. That's all. Jeannie doesn't think this should be controversial, but not everyone agrees. She has been described as transphobic, a genital fetishist, a pervert, and a TERF, a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. A genital fetishist. I have never in my life heard that term. Never in my life. And I have been pretty open with saying, yeah, I have a genital preference. Right? Because, you know, like, sometimes I've never heard that term. Since when have people Google us and tell us what it says? A genital... I'm Googling it in a different tab because I am not going to get my channel taken down. Genital fetishist, the new monosexual for unwashed leftists that thinks that everyone is attracted to both sexes but are in denial. They're too stupid to not know what a fetish is. So of course they think everyone is sexually bisexual too. Yeah, this seems like it'd be a very niche thing. Oh wow. So yeah, it's a very niche. It's a very niche thing if it is a like if there's any subsect of people that say it, it'd be like a tiny amount of people. I don't get why anyone would call you a pervert for liking a particular genital. I can get the transphobic, but only for the biologically female statements, and same for the TERF thing. But that's, I wouldn't say that she's, now maybe I haven't read enough, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, she's hardcore transphobic. I'd be like, there might be a bit of transphobia there. Maybe just say people that have vaginas, that you're only attracted to people that have vaginas. And we've got a bot in the chat. We're going to hide this user. Alright, Alright, so it goes, there's a common argument that they try and use that goes, what if you meet a woman in a bar and she's really beautiful and you got on really well and you went home and discovered that she has a penis? Would you just not be interested? Says Jenny, who lives in London and works in fashion. Yes, because even if someone seems attracted at first, you can go off them. I don't possess the capacity to be sexually attracted to people who are biologically male, regardless of how they identify. My statement, right? My argument here would be, what if you met someone who you got on really well, beautiful woman in the bar, got on really well, you have sex with them, they have a vagina, and then you find out later that they're trans? Would you just suddenly be like, oh, you know, like because there is bottom surgery, that is a thing. Would you suddenly be like, oh, I'm no longer attracted to them? Because if that's the case, if just the fact of them being trans is enough to turn you off them, then that is the thing. As I said, I can understand genital preference. I can, right? People do have that. But I don't understand the thought of just being not being attracted to someone just because they are trans or just because they're cisgender. I can understand like certain concerns that some people might have, right? With because there are some people that might be trans that aren't into cis people, but that's because they want to be safe, right? And the reason why they want to be safe is because there's sometimes they're worried about the fact that a lot of abuse does happen to trans people, perpetrated probably by, I'd assume, by cis people that are like, oh, you're trans, you know. That is something. It's just a thing that they prefer to not be with someone that is a risk, right? That's the topic of almost the whole season of Old Show Nip Tuck. The kid falls in love with a woman, sleeps with her, and finds out she has had the bottom surgery. Yeah, if I fell in love with someone that had bottom surgery, I wouldn't be bothered. You know, it's like, if I find someone attractive, I'm not going to suddenly find them unattractive just because they've had bottom surgery. I don't think there are any bottom surgical techniques that would produce something which would not be noticed by a lesbian during sex. Potentially. Like, maybe they will find that out. But, hey, if it's something that... now, it is probably a good idea to... Honestly, it is probably a good idea to let someone know whether you are trans before going home with them, because there are issues with going home. You know, if you are trans and you go home with someone and they find out that you're trans and then suddenly they turn out to be quite violent, that is an issue. You should probably let them know. But, yeah, that's... Wait, do we have drama in chat? I'm a little bit confused. Wait. Anyway. Can I define bottom surgery? So oh yeah, 82 just basically, basically, it's just surgically changing your genitals. There are different ways, like, apparently, like, some places they aren't great about it. I've heard that in some places they do try and preserve the nerve endings to try and make it fine, but, you know, it's to try and make it so that you can still feel stuff. But, yeah, it's something that... Honestly, to me, it seems kind of like, I wouldn't, like, I feel like you'd have to have a lot of dysphoria to get bottom surgery. And people do have a lot of dysphoria. So they do get bottom surgery. It's up to everyone, though. Like, I'm not going to judge someone for having bottom surgery or not. So they say, I became aware of this particular issue after I wrote an article about sex, lies, and legal consent. Several people got in touch with me to say there was a huge problem for lesbians who are being pressured to accept the idea that a penis can be a female sex organ. Okay, that's a very different thing. Okay, so that is a very different thing to saying that you're being pressured into having sex. Alright, that being pressured to accept the idea as a penis can be a female sex organ is a very different idea than saying we're being pressured into sex. That is two different things. One of them is just saying, hey look, girls... I feel like it's the thing of, hey look, girls can have dicks too. Right? And sometimes it'll be, some people might say, okay, why aren't you attracted to girls with dicks? And I'd say genital preference, right? That's why I'm not attracted to girls with dicks, because I have a genital preference. The reason why someone else might not be attracted to a girl with a dick, it might be something different, right? It's different. You know, different strokes for different folks, am I right? They go on to say, I knew this would be a hugely divisive subject. Oh, also, if people are getting in touch with you to say that it's a huge problem, then I feel like it's more to do with selection bias, right? The people that don't find it a huge problem aren't going to be the ones reaching out. Then they go, I knew this would be a hugely divisive subject, but I wanted to find out how widespread the issue was. Ultimately, it has been difficult to determine the true scale of the problem because there has been little research on this topic. Only one survey to my knowledge. Oh, that survey. However, those affected had told me the pressure comes from a minority of trans women, as well as activists who are not necessarily trans themselves. Okay, this part makes sense. Okay, this is the one good line that I have read so far, right? If it comes from a minority of trans women, that is probably the case. I'd assume that it would come from a minority, not the majority. There's probably like a couple of trans people who are like, should have sex with trans people, but it's most certainly, I can tell you that it's not the majority. As well as activists who are not necessarily trans themselves. Yeah, activists can be kind of cringe at times. Sometimes activists will be like, you'll have some activists will say, why won't you have sex with like a trans person? Because, they might have sex with a trans person. They might have no genital preference. But I'd say that it would probably also be a small minority of the activists rather than the majority. They described being harassed in silence if they tried to discuss the issue openly. I received online abuse myself when I tried to find interviewees using social media. Okay, one thing every lesbian deals with is straight dudes telling them that if only they'd give them a chance, they might realize they're actually straight. Trans activists have that same energy. Let people date who they want to date. If someone rejects you, it's none of your business why. Yeah, I can kind of... Alright, this might get me cancelled, but I can kind of understand the whole thing of, you might meet a lesbian and be like, here's a dude, be like, just give me a chance, you'll find out that you're actually straight. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, so I can understand with, you don't know until you've tried. But at the same time, it would be like, let's say you're not attracted to old people, right? And an old person comes up to you and is like, well, you haven't, don't knock it until you try it. You might like, I have no teeth. It's just because you're not attracted to certain groups of people doesn't mean that just because you haven't tried it with a certain group of people, doesn't mean that you have to try it with them to find out that you're not into that, right? Sure, there might be like a whole lot of people that are unknowingly really into grandmas or granddads, but that does not mean that they have to go ahead and try it, right? The same would go for, sometimes you just don't like the idea of a dick. That is fine. You don't have to try it. If you don't want to. You might not like... Hey, some people might not like the idea of a vagina. They don't have to try it either. One of the lesbian women I spoke to, 24-year-old Amy, has told me she experienced verbal abuse from her own girlfriend, a bisexual woman who wanted them to have a threesome with a trans woman. When Amy explained her reasons for not wanting to, her girlfriend became angry. The first thing she called me was transphobic, Amy said. She immediately jumped to make me feel guilty about not wanting to sleep with someone. I feel like that would be like a huge red flag in a relationship, to be honest. Like, if your partner is like, yo, can we have a threesome? And you're like, no, I don't want to have a threesome, and there might be, as a say, like, I do take the whole thing with a grain of salt. I'd assume that Amy is just attracted to vaginas. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just assume that most of these people are most of these people are just have genital preferences, right? She said next line. She said the trans woman in question had not undergone genital surgery, so she still had a penis. I know there is zero possibility for me to be attracted to this person, said Amy, who lives in the southwest of England and works in a small print and design studio. I can hear their male vocal cords. I can see their male jawline. I know under their clothes there is male genitalia there. These are physical realities that, as a woman who likes women, you just can't ignore. Okay. I can understand the male... Like, if they haven't done voice training, I can understand that. And voice training is difficult. Yeah, it is really difficult. But, like, the jawline thing, I don't pay attention to jawlines. You know, some people... is jawline really that big of an issue? I guess, like, some people, like, they'll have the Chad jawline, right? But apart from that, I don't know, like, it just hasn't... I don't really notice... Maybe I don't notice these things. Maybe there are some people that do notice things. Maybe there are some people that are not attracted to certain jawlines. That is fair, but, you know... Amy said she would feel this way even if a trans woman had undergone genital surgery, which some opt for while many don't. Now that is okay. So much for me giving them the benefit of the doubt about having a genital preference. Yeah, it's... I don't know, like, if they, like, there are some females that have jawlines that are similar to... I don't know, like... I don't know, like, I just don't notice... If I saw someone that I thought was attractive, right, and I probably wouldn't notice if they had a male jawline. Is this just me, or am I just, like, being super not noticing of things like this? I just have never noticed people's jawlines. Maybe I need to hang out with more trans people. Maybe that's just something that I need to do. I kind of want to make a web-based game about this issue now. I'm not going to, but I'll predict a 50-50 split between correct and incorrect guesses, yeah. Oh, actually... is Blair White a thing? Blair White. Does Blair White have... I don't know, like, I'm not seeing any male jawline here. There are some, like... I don't see a male jawline there on Blair White. Come in here with no context hearing. I need to hang out with more trans people and talk. Yeah, we're talking about genital preferences. Like, I can completely understand people having a genital preference. You know, like, and I can understand maybe you're attracted to people's voices. Right? That's fair. But just say, like, hey, look, I'm just not attracted to your voice. Like, I've had people say, possibly. Hey, I've had people say that they're attracted to my voice, right? There's probably people that aren't attracted to my voice as well. There's probably people that are like, there's a heaps of things. It's the fact that she says even if a trans woman had undergone genital surgery, the fact that she said that makes me feel as though it's to do with transphobia, because some people pass very well after like genital surgery. They've had the hormones, had the surgery, and they basically are indistinguishable from. Yeah, voice is best when you say dick. I know. Soon afterwards, Amy and her girlfriend split up, and that's fair. I think this part is fair. If someone's trying to pressure you into having sex with someone, yeah, maybe break up with that person, maybe cut them off. I remember she was extremely shocked and angry and claiming my views were extremist propaganda and inciting violence towards the trans community, as well as comparing me to far-right groups, she said. I feel like there's... if I don't know how they'd get this, mate. Maybe I'm not sure whether I should take Amy at her word. Because I feel like there is probably a bit more than what's being mentioned here. I don't know. I felt bad for hating every moment. Another lesbian woman, 26-year-old Chloe, said she felt so pressured she ended up having penetrative sex with a trans woman at university after repeatedly explaining she was not interested. Yeah, no means no, people. They lived near each other in halls of... in halls of residence. Chloe had been drinking alcohol and does not think she could have given proper consent. I felt bad for hating every moment because the idea is that we're attracted to gender rather than sex, and I did not feel that. I felt bad for feeling like that. Ashamed and embarrassed, she decided not to tell anyone. Language at the time was very much trans women are women, they are always women, lesbians should date them, and I was like, that's the reason that's the reason I rejected this person. Does that make me bad? Am I not going to be allowed to be in the LGBT community anymore? Am I going to face repercussions for that instead? So I didn't tell anyone. Yeah, this is one of them things where this shouldn't have happened. If someone, as I've said, yes, people can have genital preferences, right? And you are allowed to reject. Hey, if I'm not attracted to, it's the whole thing with fat phobic, right? If you reject someone that's overweight, it's not just because if you reject someone because they're fat, that doesn't mean that you suddenly hate fat people, right? It's just, you may not be attracted to people that are overweight. 3 or 4 years? Hold on, 3 or 4 years? But I'm trying to... I am not sure where 3 or 4 years thing comes from. Bathroom. Oh yeah, bathroom bills. So yeah, we've got lesbian, not queer, trans. Yeah, this is quite. Trans activists do not. The whole trans people are raising lesbians thing is. That just seems insane to me, really. How can trans people erase lesbians? Right? It's stupid to me. Hearing about experience like these, led one lesbian activist to begin researching the topic. Angela C. Wilde is the co-founder of Get the L Out, whose members have believed the rights of lesbians are being ignored by much of the current LGBT movement. She and her fellow activists have demonstrated at Pride marches in the UK where they faced opposition. Pride in London accused the group of bigotry, ignorance, and hate. Lesbians are still extremely scared to speak because they think they won't be believed because the trans ideology is so silencing everywhere, she said. Angela created a questionnaire for lesbians and distributed it via social media, then published the results. Yep, this is the one study. I already know. She said that She said that of the 80 women who did respond, 56% reported being pressured or coerced to accept a trans woman as a sexual partner, while acknowledging the sample may not be representative of the wider lesbian community. She believes it was important to capture their points of views and stories. Yeah. So this thing here, what's the sample size? It's 80. 80. Shit. 80. Jesus. Yeah, so this is going to be biased because it's the L out, like the probably within the group. But like, holy shit. So out of the 80 women who responded, right, 56%, what is that? 80 div 100 times 6. 44.8. So 45 people. Right, that's 45 people. Right. Now, obviously, no, there shouldn't be anyone that... What's the confidence interval for n equals 80? 95% confidence interval. 80 just seems like a very small amount of people. Like, yeah, 80 is like very like I'd be surprised that you can. I feel like there would need to be a much larger sample size, and also it needs to be you need to have people from all walks of life, right? Because it's because if you're distributing it via social media, my guess, right, would be that I've heard that it's probably people that are more likely to be part of this kind of group that responded, right? And even then, like, 56% of people for a highly biased, if you're part of this sort of group, right? Now, maybe you are being pressured, but maybe it's something that you've overblown, right? As well as experiencing pressure to go on dates or engage in sexual activity with trans women, some of the respondents reported being successfully persuaded to do so. I thought I would be called a transphobe, or that it would be wrong of me to turn down trans women who wanted to exchange nude pictures, one wrote. Young people feel pressured to sleep with trans women to prove that I'm not a TERF. Yeah, again, like... I have to keep on reiterating, genital preference is a thing. It's just the only time when genital preference, when you can't use that excuse, right, is when you say, well, I wouldn't even say that it's an excuse. That's bad of me to say that it's an excuse. Like, it is a genuine thing. The only time when you can't really say that is when it's like, well, what if they have what if they've changed genitals and you're attracted to them, and then they later tell you that they're a trans person, and then you're suddenly not attracted to them because of that fact? Then that sounds like you just might be a little bit transphobic. I calculated it's 8.9%, so that's an interval of 47.1 to 64.8%. Yeah, very inclined. Yeah, that is... And that's assuming the sample is actually fair. Yeah. So one woman reported being targeted in an online group. I was told that homosexuality doesn't exist, and I owed it to my trans sisters to unlearn my genital confusion. So one woman told that homosexuality doesn't exist, and I owed it to my trans sisters to unlearn my genital confusion so I can enjoy letting them penetrate. Okay, so I'm going to be generous again. I'm going to be... Now, homosexuality is a complicated issue. Now, for all intents and purposes, we can say that it is a thing, right? Like, because, you know, as long as there is gender and sex, being attracted to one gender or one sex is going to be something that people have, you know. The way that I view it is complicated, right? Like I'm not necessarily attracted to your gender, right? So here I will often assume what bits you have down there based on factors such as based on factors of how you look, right? Whether you wear makeup and stuff like that. However, I find that I find that it is really complicated. Like, if I got with someone and they later decided to transition and get bottom surgery, would I be no longer attracted to them? I don't think so. I honestly don't think I'd no longer be attracted to them. I think I'd still be attracted to them. Like, if you love someone and they transition, maybe it's just me, because relationships to me are more than just sex, right? You can continue a relationship even if there's no sex. Although you'd probably want to make sure, like, if you want to continue a relationship with no sex, make sure your partner is fully aware about what you expect from that relationship. But that's something that you can do. When it comes to sexuality, it is one of them complicated things, because it's like, yeah, you have a genital preference, but it's also based on how people look. You know, there are some effeminate guys that look fairly attractive. Would I have sex with an effeminate guy? Probably not. Would I be attracted to them? Possibly. You know, there are heaps of different factors when it comes to sexuality. Sexuality is one of them things where it is a complicated subject, and boiling it down to person has gender. I'm not attracted to gender. Or boiling it down to person has sex, I'm not attracted to that sex is a little bit is a little bit reductive, I find. And the whole concept of sexuality is like very reductive. Like, the whole concept of being straight sometimes can be quite reductive. Like, people will say, oh, butt plugs are gay. No, they're not. They are not gay. Butt plugs have nothing to do with whether you find guys attractive or not. To be said, so here's the thing: in the Republican state of Ohio, a woman was recently turned away from getting her tubes tied. The reason being that she hadn't had a kid before, and she may regret it. She's married. I I swear I've heard about this on Twitter. I think I heard about this. Is it the same thing that I am thinking about? Let me find tweets and replies. Oh, jeez. Jesus. That's right. This person here. Oh no, this is a different person. Anyway, this person here says, I can't believe that today a gynecologist told me that the hysterectomy wouldn't be considered as an option for my debilitating period pain. On the off chance I divorce my wife, my sexual orientation changes, I meet a man and decide I want children. It's worth adding that I'm 27 and I've had severe... Oh yeah, it's like what? Firstly, you have to divorce your wife. The second thing, your sexual orientation has to change. The third thing is they're assuming that you'll want children, and that there's 4 things there that they're assuming. It's like, how often does that happen? I'd assume it doesn't happen that often. I'd assume that it doesn't happen. And it's like, yeah. I don't know. That just seems bizarre to me. Anyway, continuing on with this article. One compared going on dates with trans women to so-called sexual orientation doesn't have to change for the desire to want to be mother to be present. Yeah, that is also true. But there's always adoption as well. People are the chain of occurrences somehow that has probability lower than 0. One compared going on dates with trans women to so-called conversion therapy, the controversial practice of trying to change someone's sexual orientation. I knew I wasn't attracted to them, but internalized the idea that because of my trans misogyny, and that if I dated them for long enough, I could start to be attracted to them. It was DIY conversion therapy, she wrote. Another reported a trans woman physically forcing her to have sex after they went on a date. They threatened to out me as a TERF and risk my job if I refused to sleep with them, she wrote. I was too young to argue and had been brainwashed by queer theory. Holy shit! Brainwashed by queer theory. This is far right talking points here. Holy shit. Maybe not far right, but at least definitely conservative. So they were a woman, even if every fiber of my being was screaming throughout, so I agreed to go home with them. They used physical force when I changed my mind upon seeing their penis. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just pure rape. Right, yeah, that's something. Don't coerce people into having sex with you. Yeah, hey. I know why they are in brackets. I say what you want about the article, but at least the BBC felt the need to appropriately gender people, because obviously this they was inserted as. I'm feeling that the obvious thing is this person was he threatened to, that's obviously what was happening there. And the BBC was yeah, we wouldn't be able to publish that. We're going to be they. And we're going to block this person. Anyway, was welcomed by some in the LGBT community, Angela's report was described as transphobic by others. I mean, if you're misgendering someone, regardless of whether they are legitimately trans or not, like that's... I probably don't do that. Hey, if you don't misgender them, and then you can be like, oh yeah, this... I'm being the better person. People said we are worse than rapists because we supposedly try and frame every trans person as a... I mean, there are times when that does happen. This is not the point. The point is that if it happens, we need to speak about it. If it happens to one woman, it's wrong. It turns out it happens to more than one woman. Yeah, I think that what we need to do is we need to make sure that it's like singular events, like or that we frame it how it is. Like it's not like some overarching issue. Like that's the bigger issue with this whole debate around trans things is that a lot of trans women are portrayed as rapists. They're not, right? It's just something that is not a thing. Well, that doesn't... They're not rapists, right? Some of them might be, yeah, but some lesbians are rapists. Some gay people are rapists. A lot of straight people are rapists. Right? That's a... all walks of life have rapists, like... And it shouldn't be that we ignore the problem. Yeah, I'll come out and say it. There is probably a problem. However, it shouldn't be used to vilify the whole trans community like it is often being used to do. The YouTuber Rose of Dawn has discussed the issue on her channel in a video titled "Is Not Dating Trans People Transphobic?" This is something I've seen happen to real life friends of mine. This was happening before I actually started my channel. It was one of the things that spread it on, said Rose. What's happening is women who are attracted to biological females and female... please... Stop. You say biological females, it is one of the things which makes me instantly question your point. If you say female genitalia, it's like, oh yeah, completely on board. But if you say biological female, I am not attracted to your chromosomes, goddammit. Anyway. And female genitalia are finding themselves put in very awkward positions where if, for example, they're on a dating website, a trans person approaches them and say that, sorry, I'm not into trans woman, they are labeled as transphobic. Yeah, I'm not going to label anyone as transphobic for not wanting to date a trans person out of context. What did I say? Am I going to get clipped? Did I? Am I? Is it clipped and shipped? Is it? Anyway. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can be like the thing is, it's like I'd ask, okay, why? Like, here's the thing: if you are attracted to if you're on a dating website, you're attracted to a trans person, right? And that person has undergone bottom surgery. If they've undergone bottom surgery and you're still like, no, I'm just not attracted to trans women, despite you finding them attractive before, then that indicates transphobia. That is, I would find that to be a very good indicator of transphobia. If it's something where if it's something where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just not attracted to your genitals, it's like, then it's more understandable. I can give people the benefit of the doubt if it's just not being attracted to a certain set of genitals, because hey, that's how I am. I asked Veronica Ivy if she would speak to me, but she said she did not want to. You. Alright, who's Veronica Ivy? Is Veronica Ivy this person here? Anyway, they say, I like dick. Girl with dick says, hey, want a date? Oh no, I only like guys, dicks and guys. Guy responds to date ad, sup girl. Guy has a vagina. Oh sorry, I only like guys with dicks. Both cases are people... both cases trans people are left in the cold. Gentle preferences are trans... Yeah, like, I don't like this take. Gentle preferences are not transphobic. You can... Like... You can have genital preferences. That's a thing. That is a thing. Sometimes, sometimes it's one of them things where you may not actually know about, like certain like genital preferences, or certain things. That it's like apparently when you go on HRT, like your genitals can change. Now a lot of people don't know about that, and that's fine. I'm not going to be like, well, now you know about this, you got to no, I'm going to be like, yeah, you can still be like, yeah, I just don't like the idea of a dick. Or I don't like the idea of a vagina. That's up to you. Rose believes views like this are... How many... Oh, this... Yeah, you can tell that this person got abs... This has got ratioed. Like, look at the amount of quote tweets. Like 1,500 quote tweets and 500 likes. That never happens except if people largely disagree with it. Like this is like something that this is something that people just like are disagreeing with. I disagree with this, right? Like, everyone's disagreeing with this. Like the fact that it has 1,500 quote tweets compared to 500 likes means that people disagree with this way more than agree with it. Rose believes views like this are incredibly toxic. She believes the idea that dating preferences are transphobic. Its gentle preferences are a thing. She believes that the idea that dating preferences are transphobic is being pushed by radical trans activists and their self-proclaimed allies who have extreme views which don't reflect the views of trans women she knows in real life. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. This is fair. It's definitely like extreme views in this case, and self-proclaimed allies. Yeah, I find this to be fair. I would say genital preferences rather than dating preferences, because honestly, when it comes to dating preferences, right? Like, let's say that you're straight and you find someone attractive, or you may let's say you find someone that's not attractive for whatever reason. They're not attractive to you. If it turns out that they're trans, does that make you transphobic? No, it just means that you're not attracted to them for whatever reason, right? If it's an instance where you find out that they're trans, and then you're suddenly not attracted to them despite being attracted to them before, then yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I've only got bots in the chat. Alright. However, certainly from my friend group, the trans women I'm friends with, almost all of them agree lesbians are free to exclude trans women from their dating pool. However, she believes even if trans people are afraid to talk only about... However, she believes even trans people are afraid to talk openly about this for fear of abuse. People like me receive a lot of abuse from trans activists and their allies. Trans activist side is incredibly rabid against people who they see as stepping out of line. Well, remember, 500 likes, 1,500 quote tweets. People massively disagreed with this. D.B. Hayton, a science teacher who transitioned in 2012 and writes about trans issues, worried some people transition without realizing how hard it will be to form relationships. Although there is currently little data on sexual orientation of trans women, she believes most are female attracted because they're biologically male and most males are attracted to women. So when they, trans women, are trying to find partners, and lesbian women say we want women, heterosexual women say they want a heterosexual man, that leaves trans women isolated from relationships and possibly feeling very let down by society, angry, upset, and feeling that the world is out to get them. Okay, this first part, it's like, there are some people that have actually felt their sexual orientation change when transitioning. Might be just hormones or something that plays a part. But you know, like it's. I don't think that just because. Yeah, I find that this is like a iffy thing. But this part, like, I can completely understand. Like, this might actually be the reason why there are a lot of. Not why there are some people that are like, oh yeah, you should be attracted to trans people, right? Because that's a thing. That's a thing where you know, like if your dating pool is limited, you know, people that could be an issue, you know. I think the best way is to be upfront, like, because some people will be like, you know, I'm more effeminate guys, and would probably not mind being with a trans woman, you know. But yeah, it's one of them things where, like, yeah, I can completely get this. That doesn't mean that people have to be attracted to you if they're not attracted to you. But, you know, it's one of them things where it can be rather difficult, I'd say. DB thinks it's fine if a lesbian does not want to date a trans woman, but is concerned some are being pressured to do so. The way of that shaming is used as just horrific. It's emotional manipulation and Holy shit, it's warfare going. Didn't realize it was that bad. Didn't realize we're fucking fighting wars over in the Middle East about this. These women who want to form relationships with other biological feeling bad. How do we get it? I don't like how it's being framed here with biological woman. Please, baby, stop using that term. Just I don't know, like. I feel like this conversation needs to be way more nuanced than what is happening in this BBC article. Okay. Oh, we're going Stonewall. Stonewall is the largest Stonewall is the largest LGBT organisation in the UK and Europe. I asked the charity about these issues, but it was unable to provide anyone for interview. However, in a statement, Chief Executive Nancy Kelly likened not wanting to date trans people to not wanting to date people of colour, fat people, or disabled people. She said, "Sexuality is personal and something which is unique to each of us. There is no right way to be a lesbian, and only we can know who we're attracted to." Yeah, that's fair. Nobody should ever be pressured into dating or pressured into dating people they aren't attracted to. But if you find that when dating you are writing off entire groups of people, like people of colour, fat people, disabled people, or trans people, it's worth considering how societal prejudices may have shaped your attractions. True! Very true. We know that prejudice is still common in LGBT plus community, and it's important that we can talk about that openly and honestly. Yeah, like, okay, I'm gonna be real. Yeah, there are some people that, like, I am generally attracted to, lighter skinned people. Now, people will probably cancel me for that. However, that doesn't mean that I'm only attracted to lighter skinned people. Right? It's just that there are some people with darker skin that I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe there is some underlying prejudices there. I would hope not. But I just tend to be. Now, it may also be my friend group. However, I'm not going to write off someone just because they have darker skin. Right? It's I'm not racist. It's just a tendency that I have, right? Hey, if I find someone attractive, hey, well, I've actually been with someone who they did this really weird thing where their Tinder profile was they must have had some filter which lightened their skin, right? Let me take a photo of them. Maybe a little. But yeah, I have a photo that they took there. I should probably I just haven't really moved it from there. Anyway, this was ages ago. They had darker skin than what I was expecting, but it's like, I didn't mind. Like, it didn't mean that I wasn't suddenly not attracted to them, because, I found their photos attractive. Like, the skin color didn't change. I'm 36 says, "I'm generally attracted to people with fair skin. That does not mean I'm attracted to all people with fair skin." And that is, yeah, that same goes for me. Like, I don't know why. There are some people that have darker skin that I'm like, damn, they're hot. Like, that's it just tends to be just a tendency, right? And it could also be like, now, it could just be that it's culture, right? In fact, I'd wager that a lot of it probably has to do with culture. Like, if I because I am not attracted to people with dreadlocks, right? People with darker skin are more likely to have something like I'm glad that people are Rihanna with short hair. I'm not sure about the artist. I don't know, but yeah, I don't like dreadlocks. It's something that I just don't like. Rihanna, I think she's hot. I can't remember. Rihanna. Yeah. She's a bit too old for me. That's the oh yeah, there's some things here that I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah. Bit too old for me. But yeah, oh, what was I going? Yeah, like something about dreadlocks. Yeah, I'm not. So yeah, there might be sort of generally norms. Like if you're in certain groups, right? Then you might be like it's. I find that like queer people tend to have more likely to dye their hair, right? That is a thing. So certain cultures will be more likely to have certain looks to them, like whether it be dreadlocks, whether it be ponytails, pigtails, you know, if like some people might be attracted to girls with guns, right? Or to girls that, you know, are shooting. They're probably going to be more likely to end up with a southern girl, right? That's a thing. Anyway, we know that prejudice is still common in the LGBT plus community, and it's important that we can talk about that openly and honestly. Stonewall was founded in 1989 by people opposed to what was known as Section 8, legislation which stopped councils and schools from promoting homosexuality. The organisation focused on issues affecting lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. Then in 2015 and announced it would campaign for trans equality. A new group, LGB Alliance, has been formed partly in response to Stonewall's change of focus by people who believe that interests of LGB people are being left behind. Yeah, isn't like LGB Alliance a hate group? It's fair to say that I didn't expect to have to fight for these rights again, the rights of people whose sexual orientation is towards people of the same sex, co-founder Bev Jackson, who also co-founded the UK Gay Liberation Front in 1970. We sort of thought that battle had been won, and it's quite frightening and quite horrifying that we have to fight that battle again. I'm not sure what I'm trying to like kill the bee something. I don't know what this is. All I know is that they're marching and yeah, I don't know what this is. At this point, the article is only half about the subject. Yeah, I think so. LGBT Alliance says that it's partially concerned about younger and therefore more vulnerable lesbians being pressured into relationships with trans women. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing that you find people saying it doesn't happen. Nobody pressures anyone to go to bed with anyone else, but we know that it's not the case," said Mrs. Jackson. "We know a minority, but a sizable minority of trans women do pressure lesbians to go out with them and have sex with them, and we find, and it's a very disturbing phenomenon." I asked Mrs. Jackson how she knew a sizable good question. How a sizable minority of trans women were doing this. She says, "We don't have figures, but we are frequently contacted by lesbians who relate their experience in LGBT groups and on dating sites." Yeah, be good if you had figures. Well, yeah, and honestly, this conversation needs to be more nuanced. It's one of the things where, like, this, like, I do think that this is something of an issue, but I just don't think that's the main issue that we need to be focusing on, you know? I feel like the issue that, of, like, certain trans issues are, like, far more how do we put this? Like, far more pressing, you know? Like, there's certain issues that affect trans people. Like, there are issues that affect all trans people, right? Especially on Turf Island. But then there are issues which affect, like, tiny, like, because whatever this issue is, can probably guarantee you that it affects less lesbians than trans issues affect trans people, right? Okay, shyest, young woman. Okay, I had to burp there. Sorry. Why does she think there has been so little research? I certainly think research on this topic would be discouraged, presumably because it would be characterized as a deliberately discriminatory project, she said. But also the girls and young women themselves, since it is likely the shyest and least experienced young women who are the victims of such encounters, would like to discuss them. Oh. This is something like, yeah, so there are sometimes certain things that make data acquisition for certain things difficult. There is that sometimes. However, I do not like when people use that to be like, yeah, this is a bigger issue than what we thought because where they use it to say, yeah, so this is a bigger issue than what we thought because the people that are victims of this would be, you know, they wouldn't say about it. And it feels to me like a Weasley way to say, hey, look, yeah, it's not as big as we know that we'd get less data than what we're expecting for this, but it's because of this, so it really is actually a bigger problem, you know. LGBT Alliance has been described as a hate group, anti-trans, and transphobic. However, Ms. Jackson insists the group is none of these things and includes trans people among its supporters. LGBT Alliance, I'm sure that they basically campaign against a lot of trans things, and actually, I know that it has definitely been characterized as a hate group. From what I've heard, it actually does more to like prevent it hasn't pushed for any policies that affect LGBT at all. Currently, it actually is more of a roadblock to LGBT issues than a supporter. This word transphobia has been placed like a dragon in the path to stop discussion about really important issues. It's hurtful to our trans supporters. It's hurtful to all our supporters to be called a hate group when we're the least hateful people you can. You're the KKK. We're the least hateful people you can find. Some people do disguise, you know, we just want to support white people. That's what the KKK would say. It's like one of these things where often what people will do is they'll try and be like, yeah, we're just supporting us. We don't hate the people that we seem to be rallying against. We're just supporting the people that are rallying with us. The term cotton ceiling is sometimes used when discussing these issues, but it is controversial. It comes from glass ceiling, which refers to an invisible barrier preventing a woman from climbing up the top of the career ladder. Cotton is reference to woman underwear, with phrase intended to represent the difficulty some trans women feel when they are seeking relationships or sex. Breaking the cotton ceiling means being able to have sex with a woman. Yeah, like there are some people that have relation difficulty. The term is first thought to have been used in 2012 by a trans porn actress going by the name of Drew DeVoe. She no longer works in the industry, and I've not been able to contact her. However, the concept of the cotton ceiling came to wider attention, was used in the title of a workshop by Planned Parenthood Toronto. The title of the workshop was overcoming the cotton ceiling, breaking down sexual barriers for queer trans women. And the description explained how participants would work together to identify barriers, strategize ways to overcome them, and build community. It was led by a trans writer and artist who later went to work for Stonewall. The organisation has asked the BBC not to name her because of safeguarding concerned. The trans woman who led the workshop declined to speak to the BBC, but Planned Parenthood Toronto stood by its decision to hold the workshop. In a statement to the BBC, Executive Director Sarah Hobbs said that the workshop was never intended to advocate or promote overcoming any individual's woman's objections to sexual activity. Instead, she said the workshop explored the ways in which ideologies of transphobia and transmisogyny impact sexual desire. Yeah, so that is something that can have an impact. You know, like people's prejudices do have a impact on the way that they perceive things, perceive like who they want to get into a relationship with. So there are times, right, when a white person might not want to get with a black person because they're just racist, right? But then there are also times when a white person might not want to get to a black person just because they're not attracted to black people. Now, could this be an indicator of underlying societal things? Yeah, sure. Yeah, possibly. But I'm not going to be like, you're racist because of that. Who else was approached? In addition to Veronica Ivy, I contacted several other high-profile trans women who have either written or spoken about sex and relationships. None of them wanted to speak to me, but my editors and I felt it was important to reflect some of their views in this piece. In a video which has now been deleted, YouTuber Riley J. Dennis argued that dating preferences are discriminatory. She asked, would you date a trans person? Honestly, think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer? Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory. I think, let's go on. Let's see what the argument is, full argument before we... She says, I think the main concern is that people have... The main concern that people have in regard to dating trans women is that they won't have the genitals they expect, because we associate penises with men and vaginas with women. Some people think that they could never date a trans man with a vagina or a trans woman with a penis. But I think that people are more than their genitals. I think you can feel attracted to someone without knowing what's behind their legs. And if you were to say that you're only attracted to people with vaginas or people with penises, it really feels like you're reducing people down to their genitals. Okay, that's a fair thing. Yeah, that's fair. I still find that genital preference is a thing. But then, like, there's... I guess, like... It'd be like, for me at least, it would be, would I have sex with someone that didn't have... would I have sex with someone that only had a penis? No. I don't think I would. Now, part of that reason is because I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of a dick being inside me, and like I prefer. I don't think I'd be a big fan of my dick going up someone else's ass to be 100%. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's just, like, my argument would be that if you are... My argument would also be... Oh, I suppose, like, some people are attracted to blonde people, right? Are you just reducing... If you're... Hold on. if you are reducing someone down to their blonde, to them being blonde, is that reducing someone down to their hair color? No, I don't think so. I think that it's a bit more complicated than they're making it out to be. There's better arguments to make, and I think that the best way to go about this is to be like, well, are you discriminating people because they have certain genitals, or is it are you not dating people because they have certain genitals, or is it because they're trans? If it's because they're trans, then it's like, okay, why? Why is it just because they're trans? And that's when you say, okay, are you attracted to do you find this person attractive? Right? And they say, no. And you go, well, okay. And there's this. Do you find this person attractive? Go, yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, well, there's this as well. You find this person attractive? No. Okay, yeah, that was another cis person. You find this person attractive? Yeah. Well, this person's trans. If they go, well, no, I wouldn't have sex with them though. Like, why not? They have a vagina. They're trans. That's an indication of that is an indication of some other thing there, I'd say. He said another YouTuber, Danelle Galini, made a video titled "The Cotton Ceiling: Transphobia, Sex and Dating, but Not Transsexuals." He says, "I want to talk about the idea that there are a number of people out there who say they're not attracted to trans people, and I think that is transphobic because anytime you're making a broad, generalized statement about a group of people, that's typically not coming from a good place." That is true. That is a good point. Yeah, like that's why I have been so against like the way that this has been framed, is because I find that it's really broad, generalized statements. Right? Like these discussions need to be nuanced. However, she added, if there is a trans woman who is pre-op and somebody doesn't want to date them because they don't have the genitals that match their preference, that's obviously understand. Yeah, this is not anything that I would disagree with. This is completely fair. Novelist and Roz Cavani wrote an article called "Some Thoughts on the Cotton Ceiling" and another called "More Cotton Ceiling." What is always going on with an assumption is that the person is the current status of their bits and the history of their bits, she wrote in the first article, which is about as reductive as a model of sexual attraction as I can imagine. Yeah, like the history of your bits shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't. Like if you transition and you have bottom surgery, it shouldn't matter. I actually would go as far to say as like whether you have boobs or not shouldn't matter as well. Like, someone's attracted to boobs, then it shouldn't really matter. Someone's not attracted to, well, then if someone's attracted to boobs, then if you have boobs, then good. Someone's not attracted to boobs. That's just a little aside. Like, it does matter, but like it's like some people like myself, I don't mind if someone has big boobs or no boobs, right? While this debate was once seen as a fringe issue, most of the interviewees who spoke to me says that it has become prominent in recent years because of social media. Annie O'Brien, a spokeswoman for a New Zealand group called Speak Up for Women, created a TikTok aimed at younger lesbians. I've had interactions with this group recently. We're going to be that's the next thing we're going to be talking about a bit. It's going to be something in New Zealand. This is a long article. Annie, who is 30, told the BBC she is concerned for the generation of lesbians who are now in their teens. What we are seeing is a regression where once again lesbians are being told, how do you know if you don't like dick if you haven't tried it, she said. We get told we should be looking beyond genitals and it should accept that someone says they are a woman, and that is not what homosexuality is. You don't see many trans men interested in gay. You don't see as many trans men interested in gay men, so they don't get the pressure as much. But you do see a lot of trans women who are interested in women, so we are disproportionately affected by it. Maybe, but this is like the framing of the issue, like, right? Because I actually know, like, a trans lesbian, at least I assume they're a trans lesbian, who is dating another woman. At least that's what I heard last. And, you know, like, it's something that it's something that I assume is the case for other people. I'm just trying to think of trans people. I know like 3 people, or hold on, let me think. That person, and there's that. I'm not saying their names, by the way. I'm trying to remember. Like, there's someone else. Oh, that was right. Yeah, they gay. Like, there's one trans. There's like, I know a trans guy who literally said, "Oh yeah," at a thing that I was at, they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go see my boyfriend." they are trans. I feel like it's. I feel like there is like certain maybe what we're seeing is that guys just aren't as picky. Maybe. Then yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Annie believes these kinds of messages are confusing for young lesbians. I remember being a teenager in the closet and desperately trying to be straight, and that was hard enough. I can't imagine what it would be like if I'd finally come to terms with the fact that I was gay, then be faced with the idea that some male bodies are not male, so they must be lesbian, and having to contend with that as well. I'd say that we need to, like, okay, here's what needs to happen. What we need to do is when we teach people about sexuality, we need to teach them about the nuances of sexuality, right? Because that's often just not spoken about, right? The nuances of sexuality are just not taught about. I wasn't taught about the nuances of sexuality. That's something that I had to come to terms with myself. The nuances of sexuality are very important. Right, if you are like, just because you're attracted to some guys doesn't mean that you are the gay. Doesn't mean that you have the gay. You might not like guys. It's fine. And being liking dick doesn't invalidate you if you're a lesbian. Anyway, we've got some people saying, I don't want to date someone because they have a penis. Well, thanks for reducing not only sexuality, but also a person down to their genitals. Genital preferences at least 99.9% transphobic. I'm sorry. How many retweets do these people have? Sorry if you're going to be mad, but yes, it is transphobic if you have genital preferences. No ifs or ands about it. Nothing you can say can change that. What is genital preferences? It's not a fancy way of saying lesbians don't date trans women because they are really lesbians, do not attract to not as transphobic. There are some of these which I can kind of understand. Yeah, I am a perfect example of that, right? I have had people say that I am cute and then be like, yeah, but I wouldn't date. You know, like, I'm not gonna... hide user on this channel, there we go. Yeah, they're really annoying that they don't stop. I keep on blocking them, but they keep on creating new accounts. Like, we need... YouTube needs to, like, get onto their shit to try and stop this from happening. And he says she gets contacted on Twitter by young lesbians who do not know how to exit a relationship with... Break up! Holy shit. Like, okay, people need to learn that you can break up with people. You know, like, they do wait more than 2 seconds before sending messages. This is the thing with those bots. It's just that the issue is that they keep on coming. And they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming. Anyway. Yeah, just break up with... If you're in a relationship and you do not like that relationship, break up. They tried to do the right thing and gave them a chance and then realized that they are a lesbian and didn't want to be with someone with a male body, and the concept of transphobia and bigotry is used as an emotional weapon that you can't leave outside... That you can't leave because otherwise you're a transphobe, she said. Like others who have voiced their concerns and has received abuse online. Yeah, like this kind of thing where someone... Like, it's also in any relationship. Like, if someone tries to use anything as an emotional weapon, that is abuse. I've been decided to kill myself and had rape threats, she said. However, she says that she is determined to keep speaking out. A really important thing for us to do is to be able to talk about these things, though. Shutting down these conversations, calling them bigotry is really unhelpful and shouldn't be beyond our ability to have conversations about some of these things. Yeah, so... Oh, that's the full article. We finally got through it. Yay! Yeah, so... I feel like this issue is being blown out of proportion, right? I feel like it's one of them things where the people that are being pressured into... the people that are being pressured into having sex aren't the people that are being pressured aren't the majority. They're a minority of people, and obviously we need to make sure that the conversation is had so that we know that like being attracted to a particular genital isn't... You know, that's not a... I'm not gonna... You're not a bad person if you're attracted to genitals, right? If you're attracted to someone's genitals. The CB4 says biological sex and transgender sex is fundamentally different, but I think generally speaking it may feel just the same during intercourse. Yeah, so... transgender sex. Take this for example. Some people just aren't attracted to people who are veterans. No one bats an eye on that or says it's understandable. Yeah, like... and says it's understandable. Yeah. Like... if you were to say that you're not attracted to certain people, I'd say, okay, fine. That's fair. Like, if someone says they're not attracted to someone's voice, that's fine. If someone says that they're not attracted to a certain thing, and if you're just not attracted to something, that's fine. But if you're retroactively not attracted to something, then it might be a sign of some kind of bigotry, potentially. Not saying that it is, saying that it might be. It's a case-by-case basis. Like, obviously, if you find out that someone has a penis and then you're like, oh shit, yeah, no, I'm not attracted to you anymore. That's far more understanding than finding out that they are trans and then being like, even though they've had bottom surgery, and then being like, yeah, I'm not attracted to you anymore. It's like, why? Because you're trans. But, yeah, but you're attracted to me before you found out that I was trans. What changed? It's like, you're trans. That would be bigotry. Anywho, next thing. So my I'll just go on to finalize my thoughts. So yeah, like, I can understand why people are mad. Like, it briefly mentioned the fact about the whole the gay thing, right? The whole gay people might be, pressured into having sex with some trans guys, right? Briefly, it mentioned that, but not for long. It was like, yeah, briefly mentioned that, and then like, no, like, it's like, it's like, what? Is that not an issue? I feel like if this is an issue, if the whole being pressured into sex by some trans woman is an issue, I feel like the opposite would probably be true. Yeah, so the JFK Jr. thing, he didn't come back. Imagine my shock. Anywho, let's go on to the... Let's talk about the law. So I had an argument on Twitter, because arguments on Twitter are fun. I got blocked by that person. Let me bring up my notifications. Here they are. Like, I go through my notification. Okay, so I made a tweet. Oh, I should be able to see this. I should be able to see this here. Unless I'm logged in. Am I logged in here? Oh, I'm logged in here, so... Yeah, we can go your private window, and we'll... Wait, could I... Wait, open link... here we go. Yeah. So, this is the thing, I quote tweeted it out, so... Huge thing, right? So I responded to this thinking that it... Now, I did make a slight mistake when I responded to this. So, they had this whole circular argument, right? So we'll start here. Trans women need to be allowed in the women's room in order to be safe from male violence. Why? Because men assault trans women who enter their spaces. And that is a fairly big issue, like trans women who go into men's spaces do often get assaulted. And it's like, that's terrible, but I don't want people with penises in the ladies' locker room. And then they go on to say trans women already use the ladies' room, you've just never noticed. And it's like, maybe some people, but it's like, it's one of them things where it's like, how do you know that they have a penis? Right? It's one of them things where unless they show their penis, and like, I personally would be like, I wouldn't want, whenever I go into a locker room, right, I shut the door. I do not want anyone looking in. Right. I go into a thing, I go into a cubicle and shut the door. Right. And they go, then why do we need to change the law at all? Because you cannot tell if someone is a man or woman by looking at them. It has to be self-defined. Right? Which, you can't tell that a man or woman is... But that means that literally anyone has the legal right to enter the change room with me. What if men use this legal protection to assault me? the thing is, though, that I mean, can already be done. Like if like the whole bathroom thing. Like if a man wants to go into it, if a man wants to dress up and enter the ladies' room, they can do that. Like rape is illegal, right? Do you think that a bathroom is going to stop someone from that? And it goes on to say, it's illegal for someone to assault you in the bathroom, just report it. And it goes, why don't trans women just report it then? The thing is, right, when it comes to men's going into a men's space, and then getting assaulted, right, that it's more a preventative measure to stop it from happening in the first place. Not going into that, they're not going into that space is a preventative measure, right? Because like I doubt that when a man goes to the bathroom and then assaults a trans woman, then I doubt that on their mind that day they're like, I'm going to assault a trans woman. I doubt that's a thing. It was just sort of a opportunist thing, but it does happen. Or it might be that they're just a bigot, right? It just depends. It's one of them things where you protect people. And why don't trans women just report it? Well, there's a number of reasons. Maybe it's embarrassing for that stuff. Maybe you're worried that people won't believe you. There's heaps of reasons why people don't just report it, right? And I understand that. You could say that when I understand that some people could say, well, if you some woman might not report a man going into the woman's bathroom, right, to assault them, but it's like, yeah, but then again, if they're going to go into a bathroom to assault you, that's probably not going to stop them, The bathroom, I've been foiled by the bathroom. It may add a slight layer of protection, right, because if there's cameras, it might be like, I don't want to be seen going in there because it's probably going to foil my plans, but at the same time, it's like, can still do it, I have seen guys attempting to go into a woman's bathroom, and they're stopped only because someone was like, hey, don't go in there. You don't go in there. Yeah, creep is a creep no matter, right? The last I feel like bathroom is like one thing. Anyway, so I responded to this thinking that it was about like, because I do think that we should allow, I do think that we should allow trans people into women's spaces. I think that's a good, right? There's obviously it's a very complex issue when you get beyond the locker room and going beyond the locker room and stuff. But like I've said, maybe you've had that argument before. The arguments that I have read tend to be based more on studies that show allowing trans people to use the bathroom they identify with reduces rates of assault. And then I had response. But the thing is, they steered it into the self-ID laws. Now, you'd assume that it has something to do with self-ID laws. Now, I hadn't really read up on the self-ID laws all that much, so I googled it. Alright. And there's frequently asked questions. Oh, this is a private window. Let's close the private window. Don't really need a private window open. Alright, frequently asked questions. Okay, so how could a self-identification process help people? A self-identification process means those wishing to amend sex recorded in their birth certificates, a registered sex, don't have to go through a court process or provide evidence of medical treatment. They would have more control over the sex that gets recorded in their birth certificates so it can reflect their gender. A non-medicalized self-identification process also allows for non-binary genders, for those who do not identify as male or female. For intersex people, a self-identification process allows them to change their birth certificate to match their gender without providing details of their personal medical history to the court. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, and then it says, what will stop people from changing their gender to, for example, qualify for scholarships or gain access to prisons of another gender? The sex recorded on a birth certificate is not conclusive evidence of a person's sex and does not give someone an entitlement to any sex-based benefits. While sex is referred to across legislation, the only instances where sex on a birth certificate is determinative is a prisoner placement. Only instance where sex is determinative is in prisoner placement. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Oh, but it says officials are working to ensure that birth certificates will not continue to be used as evidence of person's sex or gender in this process. And so, yeah, like it's thing where they're going to change it. The Department of Internal Affairs has reviewed evidence from countries where self-identification laws are in place and have found little evidence of people trying to game the system. There will also be measures put in place to ensure that only those committed to changing their gender do so. For example, applicants will be required to complete statutory declaration. Making a false statement on a statutory declaration is a criminal offence punishable by 5 years imprisonment. Witness to statutory declaration will assess the credibility of a person and can refuse them if they are not satisfied the declaration is sincere. So yeah, that's the thing. And like I know these people haven't read the laws, because I have read part of the laws at least, or I know that these people have not. Because if they did, let's go. Let's go. All right, this is the bill. Oh, how many pages are there? Heaps of pages. I don't know how many pages this is because the pages sort of merge in you know, we've got like 150-ish sections to this, right? All right, so we have. It says they have not read this part here, which is pretty much the first page, right? Clarification of status of birth certificates as evidence of sex and gender. New clause clarifies that any individual, private sector agency, or public sector agency authorized or required to ascertain an individual's sex or gender for a particular purpose may take into account other matters other than the information on a person's birth certificate in accordance with any other applicable legislation and the rules of common law. So it doesn't change anything. You can basically be like, yeah, I there's other things that we need to consider before we let you into this female's gym. It's a thing. And it's probably, like, can you imagine, like, going through the courts to try and change you, like, to try and get your ID changed just so that you can, like, go into, like, a bathroom? Like, how, like, who would even do that? Like, you want to go into the bathroom so that you can assault people, so you change your ID. Like, that's just never going to happen. And also, like, I do think that the sex thing here, this is more gender now. Like, it should just be called gender. Apparently there are reasons, though. Yeah, so it says, the new clauses enable a person to specify male, female, or any other sex or gender specified as a person's nominated sex. Alright, let's go to the clauses. And build. Yeah, so this is the old thing, right? So it's an eligible adult 16 or 17 years may apply to the Registrar General for registration of their nominated sex. The application must specify male, female, intersex, or X unspecified as a person's nominated sex, and include a statutory declaration verifying that the eligible person identifies as a person of nominated sex and intends to continue to identify as a person of nominated sex, and wishes the nominated sex to appear on birth certificates issued in respect of the eligible person, and understands the consequences of the application and be accompanied by prescribed fee. An application by a 16 to 17-year-old must be accompanied by the written consent of the eligible 16 or 17-year-old guardian, and a recommendation by a health professional that states that the health professional considers the eligible 16 or 17-year-old understands the consequences of the application and registration of the eligible 16 or 17-year-old's nominated sex and the eligible person's, I'm just going to say eligible person's, best interests. The Registrar General may accept an application under the section only if no information has previously been registered under Section 22D in respect of this person, or the Registrar General is satisfied that there are special reasons for making it appropriate to accept the application, or the application was made at the same time as statutory declaration is provided by the eligible person in accordance with 22E. The application may be made at the same time as an application for a name change under Section 60A. So yeah, you can change your name and change your... What's 22D? Registrar General must on an application under register an eligible person's nominated sex if required, satisfied that the requirements of the person affected by the decision of a Registrar General to decline the registrar and affected by decision of the Registrar General to decline to register an eligible person's nominated sex under so yeah, they may appeal under Section 23. So yeah, so there's heaps of different things. This is actually not as boring as I thought it would be to read, to be honest. Applications by eligible person. So this is what it's going to be changed to. An application by an eligible person for nominated sex must specify male, female, or any other sex or gender specified in regulations for the purposes of this paragraph and the person's nominated sex, and include a statutory declaration by the eligible person verifying that the eligible person identifies as a person of the nominated sex, and the eligible person intends to live as a person of the nominated sex, and the eligible person understands the consequences of the application, and if the eligible person is 16 or 17 years old or has never been in a marriage, civil union, or de facto relationship, be accompanied by the written consent of their guardian or a letter of support from a suitably qualified third party that confirms that the 16 or 17-year-old understands the consequences of the proposed registration of the nominated sex, and the eligible 16 or 17-year-old's preference for the nominated sex to appear as their registered sex on any birth certificate issued under this Act, and if the Registrar General has previously registered a nominated sex for the person under Section 22D, meet any additional requirements set out in regulations, and be accompanied by the prescribed fee. Subsection 1D does not apply if the nominated sex is the same as the information relating to the sex registered in the person's original birth record. And 3, an eligible person may apply for registration of a nominated sex at the same time a person applies for a name change under. So yeah. I'm like wondering, like, is it common for like 16 or 17-year-olds to to be in a marriage, civil union, or de facto relationship? I feel like it's like quite uncommon. Yeah, but yeah. So most people in my audience won't have to worry about this this part here. Just the parts around it, because I assume you're older than me. Not now, although I believe, yeah. I think it's just a thing. So I can tell, yeah, if you ever see someone arguing about self-ID laws, especially in New Zealand, because just let them know that, hey, this is a thing that is not going to change anything. Like, have you asked them if they've read the laws and what the laws say? Now, the thing is, there'll be people that will ask, okay, if it does nothing, why do you care so much about it? It's like, it's making it easier on trans people, right? Do you just want things to be harder for trans people? Is that what you're really doing? Is that really what you are concerned about? Just making things harder for trans people? I feel like that's what a lot of transphobes are really about. It's not like trying to make things better for who they support. It's making things harder for trans people in particular. Alright, what else is there? Oh, I saw this thing on Twitter like yesterday. So, I have no idea what's going on here, but it's like, Hayes Vadim says, I'm currently reading a thread from a grown man who has convinced himself that he's been cancelled for not knowing women have a pee hole. And if we go down, apparently this is the thing.
I have a question. How many holes does a woman have from the waist down?
2.
Okay, so what are those holes used for?
A lot of things. Like, what do you mean? What are you asking?
Yeah, it's just a general, like, an easy, like, biological question. What are those 2 holes used for?
I mean, like, bathroom-wise?
Yes.
Poop and pee?
Poop and pee. And then where's the sex one, dude?
The pee one.
Oh my
okay.
God.
What's your
my
point?
God.
I haven't seen this before. What's
so
the joke?
Cute.
That's hilarious. Yeah, like as Angie pointed out, there's 3 holes. There's a pee hole, the sex hole, and then there's the poop hole. It's an easy. I knew that. I don't need someone to tell me that. I knew that like ages ago. This is why education on these things is important.
That's so fucking cute, dude. It's like, dude, you really never had a woman, like...
What is going on? What, you pee from your butt?
I have a question.
I think, yeah. And then he goes on to say, for almost a week I was gaslighted into thinking the technical mistake I made is extremely embarrassing, cancelable, and unspeakable. Now I see a bunch of dipshits on Twitter, same ones who cancelled me, make the same mistake. You need an education on this topic. The urethra and vagina are both within the vulva. I made the technical mistake on Kansas show calling the vulva the vagina got cancelled. Others did the same shit. I called them out and people act like I'm wrong. And it goes on, then why the fuck was I cancelled? I don't know what this is in response to. In the first place, why didn't you make a big deal when you're literally making the same small meaningless technical mistake that I made? What is the fucking point? You look so fucking stupid. And goes on to say, that's it. After getting a bunch of white girls to send me pics of their ass, and getting left Twitter to make the same mistake I got cancelled for. I'm actually fuming live right now. Oh, then we all have tubes because... Oh yeah, there's that. It's like... Now, I can understand, like, technical mistakes, like, because when it comes to... Like, when it comes to the whole thing of, like, vulva and all that, like... It's like... I haven't really associated that with a particular place, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like... Like, I vaguely know... Like, yeah, I vaguely know what that is, but I haven't really brushed up on my woman's anatomy. Which, I mean, there are probably going to be, like, other people that are like, yeah, so, yeah, you're a fucking dumbass. It's just a case of, yeah, I haven't really looked into it. I know the main parts, and that's it. You know? I know that there are 3 holes. One of which is a pretty small hole, to be fair. So, you know. Ugh. But anyway, what's... Oh yeah, so there's another thing. So apparently Sky News has opinions. They say that Jacinda Ardern has full control of New Zealand media. Now, if I were to go to news... Hold on, let's go to News Hub. Yeah, let's go to News Hub. Okay, let's see. Let's go to here. Let's go down to the comments. There are comments. Are there comments? Oh, there's no comments. Why do they think they have full control of New Zealand media? Political commentator Chantal Baker says that Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has full control of New Zealand media in New Zealand, which basically only pushes her ideology. Jacinda's paid a huge amount. There's been hundreds of millions that have been paid to the media to try and sustain them, keep them alive, she told. Who is this Chantal Baker? Who is it? Who? I'm gonna Google this person. Who is Chantal Baker? Who are they and why should we... Oh! 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 Chantal is the daughter of Leighton Baker, who led the New Conservative Party in the last election. That explains it. This person who's clearly mad that their daddy didn't get elected is like, yeah, it's because the Prime Minister is paying the media. What? That's it? That's it? three one-sentence paragraphs. I'm shocked. It's like we've got the media. How is this a thing in the news? This is the same level of there was a hit and run today in Dunedin. And that's the news today. Wait, is there any more? No, the police are investigating, that's it. It's like, why is that news? That happens all the time. Yeah, I am speechless. It's 3 sentences just making a claim. It's like if they were to, it'd be like if I were to make a news thing being like, flat earthers believe the earth is flat. And they say that the earth is flat and that NASA is lying to us and that NASA is pushing that the earth is a globe. Like, yeah, we already knew that. Like, is there anything? Are you gonna add anything? No. That's all. Like, what is it? How is, like, sure, it's in the opinion section, like, right? But it's also on the outside section of the opinion section. Like, who thought that it was a good idea to write this? Alright, well, anyway, in this week of stupid, there's this thing here which I saw, Fox News. Biden scratches head when asked about possible payments to illegal immigrants. And we've got people saying, is this really a headline? Well, someone that was in... Wait, no, I'm not sure if this was... I don't think that was Mandelbrot said. Just same profile picture and similar. Anyway, if we click on this... Let's take a look at what happened.
Mr. President, is it true that we're going to give $450,000 to border crossers who are separated?
Does your plan...
I am... What? Hold on. I mean, like, that's... Maybe he didn't hear it. Like he scratched his head. It's like... Or maybe he thought that the, Maybe he thought that it was a nutty question. Who knows? Like, that... why is this counting for headlines? This isn't even in the opinion section. Right? It's like... It's... like... Okay, well, chess time. We're going to play some games of chess. PJC Net. I believe we need to have a game of chess, so... So, we're going to play with a friend. Yeah, it's like Tucker Carlson scratches his head. That's news. Who was asking that? Sounded like was a reporter in a studio watching a video, not someone who's there. Yeah, like, if it was during a press conference, it would be more understandable, but, like, it's like, where was that person? Like, I didn't see that person, maybe, I don't know, like... Anyway. Let's go chess time. I'll have a game of chess against whoever. Whoever clicks the link. Ugh. I believe it's PJC Net who I think it's PJC Net who I need to have a game again. Used to be very good at chess and played for Birmingham under 11s touring around the UK, but not really played for over 40 years. You're probably, like, honestly, I'm not that great at chess either. The only reason why I might seem good at chess is because I usually play against people that aren't that great. No offense to people that I've played before. You want to have a game one day? Well, I'm you know, like I usually at the end of streams, Kerbo ties. At the end of streams, I usually put out to my audience. You know, if we want to have a game of chess, throw a link in the chat that anyone can click on. So you know, I don't mind who joins. If I wanted to play against a particular person, I'd probably DM them the link. Except I don't have PJC Net on Discord, so I can't DM them the link. I'm36 says, I asked the lizard if the overlords were pleased with the progress the world governments are making. The lizard just licked its eyeballs. Dramatic music. Dun dun dun! Yeah, that happens all the time. Oh, who am I against? Well, I'm playing black. Okay. Interesting one. Let's play there. And that's going to be next. Push that. Develop. Oh, I should have probably played. Oh well. Probably should have played there, targeting this. Yeah, so that's what I expected. We can play there and start. Fix the square. I've got control over this. Got control over the center. That's a free pawn. There or something, then pull bishop back. Probably queen to here. Okay. What? 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 Okay, check. Maybe this is like maybe this is, maybe he's playing like, or maybe they're playing like strategies far beyond what I can comprehend. Okay, let's play there. Oh no, my pawn. Oh no, your rook. Oh shit! Oh no, my bad. I should. I'm gonna play another. I was so eager to take that rook that I didn't. I could have. I didn't. No, I didn't miss mate in one. I swear hold on. Yeah, because he still had king to, like, if I move there, king to there, maybe, and then it was mate in 2. No, not mate in 2. After bishop there, still has king there, queen there, then make use of the pin. I just didn't. You first moved your queen. Oh! Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. Alright, alright, so we've got... We can eat some pieces. You had a chance to move the pawn, yeah. I did not realize that I had mate in 1. Alrighty, let's eat another pawn. We're just gonna eat all the pieces. There's a mate here somewhere. Threatening, like, taking this pawn, probably. That would force bishop there. This, oh, I've got some tactics. Force bishop. Yeah. Bishop there. Work out what I. Okay, that's protects there. Let's take a thing. It's oh, I have an idea. Oh shit, that wasn't meant. That wasn't meant to happen. I was sort of just quickly getting my knight out of the way. That pins the bishop there. On a castle. There we go. It's a pawn channel. Thinking something like there, check. For the king moves, then I have there. So currently I have here. King moves. Otherwise I just take the queen. Wait, no, or the bishop can move to it. In which case I can still maybe like assault. Yeah, because of there. Go here. Here. Force. there. Almost trap. Drop now, so go there. Go there. Go here, but then it's forced there. There's forced. Or there. Or these two squares. I need. Oh. Go here. Centralize this bishop a bit more. Yeah, I just need to centralize my centralize this bishop a bit more. Get my bishop right up in their face. Got one. Shit. Let's get the king. Got one legal move and... Oh no, they've got two legal moves. My bad. Okay. In that case... There... Okay, let's go here. There, then there. Mate. If takes, then takes and mate. So we go. Yeah, we go. Take his pawn? Which one? Yeah, I did not realize that there was like a mate in that there was like a mate in one, right? Yeah, I don't actually ever play against the Fool's Mate thing. So I was very surprised when he opened with, like, I didn't realize that I could be like, oh, checkmate. Right there. Because I didn't realize. Who was I playing against? It was like mate and like quite early on in the game. I never play against the Fool's Mate. Never. So I just missed it. I need to make sure that I can catch it when that happens, right? Alright, this is embarrassing. People are talking about art in chat. Oh, I don't have the thing open. I've been working on Lurfia. I don't have that open right now, so I can't show you. It's been slow though. No player usually does that opening. It's potential mate in two if they play those two pawns, but it never happens in clubs game. Yeah, exactly. PJC net. Like the two mates that I know about, the two like, well, there's actually a couple mates that I know about. So here you go. So if here, I think here. And like here's no, no, it's so here, here, then here, and then here, and then here is a quick mate. That's checkmate. It's the Bond Cloud mate, and then there's here. I'm trying to think of the line. So there, then throw your pawn out. here, and then say you picked your pawn, then here, and then say that you put bishop out, and there is mate. Called the Scholar's Mate. Oh, that one. I don't often doesn't really like. There are ways to stop it. Like obviously, knight there would stop, would protect the pawn. But yeah, like, knight there doesn't do much. Pushing this pawn can help, I believe. And like it also leads to other things. Apparently, if I remember correctly, you people try for the 3-move checkmate. Yeah, but club players never fall for it. Yeah, because it's like so common that you need to be prepared for it, right? If someone goes for a 3-move checkmate, it's like, yeah. I think you demand a rematch. Okay. Well, okay. Well, one last match, and then we'll end the stream up. All right. Here we go. And this time, if you do this time I will see the Fool's Mate if you play that opening. I'll play the Boches Gambit variation. So yeah, just click on the link and... Yeah. Oh, I'm playing black again. Okay, we're not playing... Here's... like my bishop here. Particularly there is where it wants to be. Right here, where my bishop be. Following that square. Knight's basically trapped. Because rook has to be there, but then there's a free rook here. Thank you. I'm guessing like there's going to be... No, not there. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Castling rights have been lost. We're going to pull our rook back to the board. I'm expecting something there, and then offer the bishop trade. Then I will bring my knight out or something. I haven't got a lot of development. Oh, there's a queen trap. It probably is, but... Or I could go here. I mean... Yeah. I'm totally expecting there, and then I'll pull my bishop back there. Keep light squared bishops this game. I think of what... Take the pawn, he'll take with... I think meaning there and then... there takes something. I'm not sure what the plans was there, Kubatais. All right. Let's develop. Ah, shit. I should have. It's okay. I think there is gonna. But I've got queen takes there. Wait, no, I don't. Bugger! I messed up. Oh no. Oh wait, no, I didn't mess up. I was. That was my bad. I thought I did mess up. I was like, oh, that bishop's protecting it, but no, it's not. See, that bishop. All right. Okay, let's move that pawn there. Oh, I'm not. Thank you. Because basically, if I go back here, with moving my pawn forward, I was basically threatening that and the knight double attack. Just because you've got. Okay, so where are we? We're here. Okay, let's bring the queen out. I have an interesting potential. Yeah. Okay, I think. Okay, I'm gonna offer a. I'm gonna offer a few things. All right, let's see if I'm gonna be tricky. I'm gonna offer some free pieces. Okay, never mind. Being tricky didn't work there. It wasn't gonna work. All right. Like this. I've got another tricky thing. Bishop pawn up to. Or not. There. Oh, I've got some like tactics that I can use. Probably should have actually just moved this knight. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work either. Oh yeah, that's right. That is annoying. I can't castle. Either way, it will take a couple moves. So if I move there, I'm gonna on cloud this. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe castling would be better. Okay, there we go. Now we can castle. Expecting something. Bishop guards it, yeah. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so that there would have probably been. I'm lining up a mate here essentially. If they're okay, that kind of screws up my mate a bit. Let's think. Okay, I've got to. We'll move that there. That thing there. Okay, thinking. This piece is targeted. Alright, well, because we can take this piece. There. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah. Take this. Takes. Okay. Yeah, this. If he takes there, alright, it's pinned. So I can take there. Yeah, and now I can't move there, and I win. So he'll take there. I've still got like pieces. Probably could have done that in a different way, but it's fun playing riskier. Could have taken this. That point. Okay, I'm gonna do something. Okay, person I'm playing against, do it. Do the French move. You know you want to. Do the French move. Do it. Do it. Do it. Giving you the opportunity. Ah, he didn't do the French move. Ah, hoping he would. In that case, we're just gonna go rook here and. Wait, no, I can't go there, that's right. So we will go... here. Take that pawn. That basically clears the way for everything. Moves the pawn, then I can deliver it. Oh, they can't move the pawn because the pawn's pinned. So, yeah, let's pre-move that. Alright. Can take the bishop. Don't mind. Here we go. And that's mate. Basically, the reason why I let the bishop go was because he takes the bishop and I can move all my stuff up to the end there. It's not... Otherwise, the other option was move this way, which would probably been better for them. And I'd have had to been a bit more careful on how I moved. Probably would have had to move... No, I couldn't have moved there. I'd have had to been... It's trickier with how I moved. Sure, I'm not Hikaru. Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun game, and I didn't miss the. I didn't miss the Maiden like. The Maiden one this time. Oh, might have, but I don't know. If I go to analysis board, it's probably going to say. They're going to say that I had a Maiden one like. Oh, I wanted to move. Oh yeah, to use my bishop actually as a guard, I guess. Yeah, I've had like mate. I can't see as far ahead as the computer can, so... When was there not a mate on the board? If you take all the pieces, leaving just the kings, the rules vary. Some... I'll say you have 21 moves to mate, but I believe some say 25. Yeah, I believe that... I generally hear the 50 move rule. That's what some things that's what I've heard. 50 move rule. If you don't mate within 50 moves, then game over. Oh, yeah, I should have just taken the... Yeah, I should have just taken that piece. Rather than being clever. Yeah, but, yeah. Yeah, I missed some mates there. But I'm not computer. Never heard 50 moves. Played 21 moves. Yeah, it's always been 50 for me. 50 move and draw. I don't know, maybe it's just... Anyway. With all that chess out of the way, leave a like and subscribe if you like this stream. Leave a comment letting me know what you'd like me to do for future streams. It's always fun to do streams because it's more chill, laid back. Even though the audience is always seems to be diminishing for some reason, but that's just a thing that happens, I guess. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you like that stream. Leave a comment, let me know what you'd like me to do for future streams. As always, I will see you in the next stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching. And play some Tattoo Air. Song that I've been learning recently, which goes a bit like this. I played it at the beginning. Something that I'm trying to get better at, but I've actually learned like an alternate version because that's easier to play, kind of, when you're trying to sing, because I'm not the greatest at rhythm. But anyway, y'all have to see, look into the whole firing of the wizard, the city count. Didn't he just resign? Oh, anyway, it's Christchurch wizard. Anyway.